welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the Mental Lab. This is your favorite host in the world, Charmy. And right now we are live streaming our podcast like we do every Monday. If you have not been a part of our live stream for the podcast, come on over. We do it over every single Monday. It's supposed to start at 5 o'clock. But look, y'all know, even since fucking season 1 of the podcast, I'm never on time for anything. So with that being said, it starts at 5 every 5 p.m. Central Time every single Monday. But without further ado, I want to say that if this episode is rough, look, they're in chat trying to fucking play me. So, but I hope y'all are having an amazing day, and hopefully I get to have an amazing day without my chat fucking being crazy. If you want to come over and hang out with us in chat, you guys are very free to. You guys can also have an interactive time over here, especially if you have questions or comments or concerns or anything like that you guys need. Now, before we also do get into today's content, I want to give a quick brief trigger warning to everybody, including those of you guys who are in chat, that a lot of the topics we talk about, specifically the topics that you guys see down below, pertain to a lot of things like mental health disorders, like eating disorders, weight, self-acceptance, a lot of things like that, potentially even suicidal conversations. So if any of these kinds of things trigger you, please make sure that you find yourself some assistance and some resources. If you want some resources, you guys can go to officialmentallab.com/resources, where there's over fucking 80 different resources that you guys can find for all different things, whether you need maintenance, counseling, help, emergency services, or whatever. All different types of things broken down from different groups and organizations, youth, all this different stuff. So you guys can go over there and check it out. Plus, while you're over there, watch all the fucking podcasts, watch all the videos. It'll do nothing but help you out. In turn, share that website with all your friends. It'll be an amazing day. With all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Chat, welcome. Okay, so what the After the Show podcast is about is in between season 2 and in between season 2 and season 3. And what we do is we pretty much go over and review the last season and groups of 2 fucking episodes. We take the video episode, which is the Human Library, where I had the chance to interview and hang out with some people, talk about, things going on in our life, got the chance to read them, got the chance to know them. And then also we talk about my audio podcast, which is just me solo, and kind of compare then and now some of the stuff we talked about, highlight a couple things. And so that's what we do. Now, what we're gonna do today is just pretty much review that. First, I wanna start off. What's up, Grams? How's it going, man? First, I wanna start off by showing you guys a nice little quick video from, here. You're gonna play. You're gonna fucking play. You're gonna play. Stop playing me. All right, so this is just a quick little snippet of, go get it.
The song My Little Love. She's talking to her child. She's like, I'm trying my best. I hope my decisions don't mess you up in the future. Yeah. I hope you don't hate me.
Uh-huh. I'm wearing a hat today.
That is a song that I would sing to my baby self. Like, I'm trying my best. Day by day, I'm making decisions, and they might not be for the best of us, but I'm trying my best. So don't hate me for the decisions I'm making right now that may affect our future, positive or negative. And I cried so hard, man. The past 2 years, I was in a relationship that it was not the best. It was very traumatizing. It was very abusive on both sides. I would take my side as well, but it was just not right. It was not good. I won't.
So that right there, this guy right here is Cameron. This guy right here is Cameron. So he was the second book that we had, or the second human that we had the chance to interview. And a lot of stuff he talked about was like aggravation, weight. He actually had an eating disorder. And you guys see he's fucking thinner than I am. Like he's a motherfucking thin ass motherfucker. He had weight issues, and he used to actually be very overweight, and he did a lot of shit to fucking come down from it. He talked about a lot of stuff with greed, self-acceptance, a lot of different shit. And so what I want to bring to you guys today from just clips from that from clips from his interview is you're seeing him urograms. Oh shit, good to know. Is just some of the stuff he talked about. Now, in my episode, I talked about total fitness. So this week, today, what we're going to talk about is a lot of stuff with like self-acceptance, weight, all those kinds of things. Also, total fitness. And so like I even in my podcast back then, I think I made a whole last slideshow like explaining what total fitness is and what I mean by that. I broke all that shit down. So today we're just going to kind of briefly talk about that kind of shit. Real question, answer at any time from chat, from Jeffrey Dahmer. How do you deal with depression or being sad in general in a safe and healthy way? Okay, so when it comes to dealing with depression or anything in a healthy and safe way, a lot of times people try and do stuff that makes them feel good. So like you have like your things that you enjoy, like you have like going outside, going to the pool, things like that, eating. Like a lot of times some of that stuff can be extremely unhealthy for you, especially if you do it to a level that is obsessive or that is dangerous to you. For instance, a lot of people, they like to depression eat, which can or cannot be bad, right? So for instance, me, I had an eating disorder. And when I was depressed, one of the things I would do is not eat. That is just something I just did not do. Now, is that good? Fucking no, we all know that kind of shit. But at the same time, for a lot of people, it might be better because they might be an emotional eater who, when they're really happy, they eat a lot. And it might be very unhealthy for them. And so when they are depressed, a lot of times they're like, fuck it, I don't want to eat shit. Or I want to eat very little. And it could be actually healthy to their body at the time. But as far as things to do when you're actually depressed and whatnot, and just sad in general, a lot of times it's good to like take some time to yourself. Like legitimately, like if a bath is good for you, like take a fucking nice ass hot ass bath. If crying is good for you, bro, cry for a fucking hour until your head hurts. Just cry. Maybe talk to somebody. Maybe talk to somebody you don't fucking know. Maybe go out in public and go find some homeless person and just fucking vent to. Now it might be fucking weird as shit for you to do that, but to be honest with you, like a lot of times like shit like that can help because yo, what's going on, Hawaii? How are you? I am guilty of depression eating. Yeah, like depression eating fucking can really destroy you. And that's like a common thing. That's why I want to bring that up because depression eating it fucks you up so much. And then on top of that, if you're already depressed and sad, and now you eat because you're depressed and sad, the only thing you do from there is hate yourself and be disappointed in yourself even fucking more. You know, which is it creates this fucking circle that, oh fuck, now I'm mad, now I'm upset, now I'm sad because now I look this way and I'm eating and I know I shouldn't be doing that, and now I'm gonna eat more because that's just what I do when I'm depressed. I don't know what else to do. You know what I mean? So that's Motivation Monday, favorite day of the week. Yes, get lit. So actually, I had a podcast. With Tati, who is my co-host. I think the very first podcast we had was titled 10 things to do when you are 10 things to do when you're depressed. If I can turn it up. Though, like when I'm in my like purging, like not eating thing, making food for my friends. So that was another thing. So one thing you just got like 5 ads. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry. Everybody who comes into the stream are subscribers. So I just fucking run the ads that Twitch wants. So emotional eater here, but growing up on food surrounded happiness and sadness. So emotional eater, sad. Oh, I'm screwed. Well, again, like if you can, once you guys can work through, and a lot of times it takes like actual therapy and things like that to get over like emotionally eating or depression eating. But it can be pretty hard. So now that you're back from the ads. So one thing I just talked. Though, like when I'm in my like purging,
Yeah.
like not eating thing, making food and whatnot for my friends kind of help, like feels good because it kind of gives me a little bit of purpose.
Yeah.
So what I'm talking about here, chat, actually I'm wearing like almost the same outfit. So what I'm talking about here, guys, is I'm talking about how like I just told you guys, a lot of times when I'm depressed, I won't eat. And it's really bad. Like one of the best ways that I have found to get over some of my depression and actually not eating at the same time is by cooking for friends and family. And so I would like have friends come over. And if I cook for them, one, it also gives me purpose. So that way, because a lot of times when you feel depressed, you feel like you have no purpose or no worth and no value. And so when I have my friends come over, that's people I'm hanging out with. Two, now I'm giving myself purpose. And so now I'm kind of excited to cook for them. And then three, also now I'm cooking for them. It kind of almost puts me in a stance where I kind of have to fucking eat. You know what I mean? So like, that's one of the ways that I know myself. It just Jeffrey, for you, it just depends on what you normally do when you are depressed and sad. For me to be able to kind of like help you out with or going around that, like that's why a lot of times you want to go to a counselor, therapist, because they're you might see them twice a week, you might see them once a week, and you get the chance to talk to them enough. Now, obviously, you guys come to the podcast. Feel very free to share as much or as little as you want here, and with as much of the information and knowledge that I have, because from the last 4.5 years of being in counseling and therapy, all different styles, Sex Addicts Anonymous. I've never been in Alcoholics Anonymous, being in group therapies, being sent to residential facilities and inpatient facilities and outpatient, all this different stuff. I have tons and tons of at least coaching and motivation and advice that I've learned and heard and encountered and experienced to be able to kind of give you guys some. So like, if you know, for instance, like when I'm depressed, I don't want to go outside and I don't want to interact with people, then, I have tips and stuff for stuff like that. So the first thing that I want to talk about today is feeling red and aggravation. So I like to character fucking rise, charming goddamn words. I like to characterize character. What's the fucking word? Characterize? Categorize. I like to categorize. God, chat, podcast watchers, you guys know I fucking suck with words. I like to categorize emotions as colors and whatnot. And so what I ended up doing in this, at the beginning of Cameron's episode, I asked him what he would identify his emotions as. Okay, we're gonna stop talking about. Anyway, so welcome back to another episode of the Human Library. Today, we don't promote. Give me your credit card and your debit card number.
Basically,
you just. All I'm gonna say is, theater kid. Did we already? No.
It's a positive and negative thing, because once that happens, you kind of lose all your inhibition. Like, well, I already
all of his stuff.
And y'all use real stuff?
That was real water, yeah.
Wow.
Because he was obviously super nervous. Well, like in the play.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
had fucking
that junior year. We had.
You turned to a DJ sample for
the roles are going to be switched. So the theater students had there's theater. My major
theater. Health updates, like just how we're doing, what's been going on, and so because you guys just heard from me, I'll go first. No. But anyway, so that on even want to have community. You missed it.
Should I just keep on, or do I need to go back?
Yeah, you can keep
okay.
Going. If you want to go back, you can. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
But so yeah, she just really needed help with her classroom management.
I cannot remember at all where this was, and I had literally all of it listed down here. I like to yeah. So anyway, so Cameron was talking about his color. So I asked him what red means to him, like what red means to him, and he said red to me means anger, aggravation, being upset, mad, which like a lot of times that's what people characterize red as. And now the reason why I categorize like my emotions into colors is because a lot of times people not everybody can like easily identify specific things, right? And so a lot of time, again, see, look, they can't easily do it. And so it's a recognizable thing across everybody. And this is something I learned in therapy, to be able to take a word like depressed, what a lot of people might associate with depressed with blue, which I associate depressed with black. That's just what I do. And now, does it really matter? No, but then you can go in and talk about why black, and you got to kind of get a mindset on why. And so I identify aggravation with red, anger, green, soothing, blue, sad. Right. And so I associate red with anger and aggravation, which is like the same thing he associates it with, which is awesome. I mean, that's great, because obviously, like, red is that thing. Like, red is stop. You know, we understand that it's stop. So somebody pisses us off, red, stop. You know, a lot of people say, I see red, which really you're not seeing red. You're just seeing the reflection of the back of your eyelids or whatever the fuck, whatever. But those are it's a warning, emergency, those kinds of things, which is cool. But like I said, the biggest thing of why I like to associate colors to associate is another. But see, I could have used associate. I'm sitting here trying to figure out categorize or whatever the fuck the word is. I could have just used associate. I don't know shit, chat. So a lot of people, it's good to try and associate certain emotions to colors. And then not only is that, but also go forth another step and explain and identify why specifically that color. Like me, I associate depression with black because for me, depression, me being depressed equals death, not sadness. Just because I'm depressed does not mean that I'm sad. When I'm depressed, for me, it turns towards death and the end of everything. And this can be very scary. So a lot of people, they can think of depression in a way where it's just like, no, I'm just sad, I'm okay. But they've just sad, and that's okay. But it just kind of helps you understand to be able to kind of talk to other people about what's going on. So also another thing, if you guys don't know how to, express your feelings, one exercise you guys can do is start working on identifying your feelings as colors. Also, don't use words like okay, fine, good, bad, sad, happy, angry. Use more descriptive words like I'm aggravated, today. Why? And that way you guys can go on. Abstract malnutrition coupled with dehydration, usually secondary to diarrhea, is one of the major causes of morbidity and death in the third world. The mortality rate is high, especially in children. 4 to 5 million die each year. Holy shit. Thank you for the hydration. All right. So another thing that we talked about, I'm thinking.
And I posted the affirmation that was the best fitting for that day. I just recently did this whole November thing of just doing these self-affirmations. And
said this November thing. And the first thing I thought of, okay. God. Hold on. We're about to talk about No Nut November on my podcast. I want you guys to understand my podcast is just as fucking serious as my goddamn stream.
Do it. Tell me.
No, because I don't want to trigger people in that way. I gave a trigger warning. I gave a trigger warning. No Nut November, right? Uh-huh. That's what you're talking about.
Oh my God.
No Nut November is a true fucking thing, okay? It is a true practice. And the reason why I'm like, I should bring it up, I'm going to bring it up, is because legitimately in Sex Addicts Anonymous, one of the things we fucking talked about is do not participate in No Nut November. If you need to, figure out how to do it in a fucking healthy way. Don't just goddamn get rid of it, because after that, bro, after No Nut November of 30 days of fucking waiting just for December 1st, or 31 days waiting for December 1st to fucking come around, is fucking on and popping, and it was on and popping with me. So yeah, that was one thing I fucking learned in goddamn... We gotta continue. What are you talking about? You did this whole November thing?
Nah, I didn't do that.
Wait, you didn't participate?
I didn't
continue.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Just continue. Also, we were recording.
I did a post on my Instagram.
I had such a good time recording this with him, and really with all of the people that I recorded with. It was really fucking fun. It was awesome. They were all really. There were every single person was perfect, that to have had on the podcast, because they were not there to be just fucking extras. Oh, Mrs. Vanilla Gorilla is here. Welcome. Thank you for following. Welcome in, Mrs. Vanilla Gorilla. Not nutted in 10 years. I mean, that's sexually healthy for him. That's sexually healthy. I wish I could, but I can't.
Every day I'm just like,
thank you.
things
Welcome
that I was
in.
feeling that day. Anything that stood out to me that day, any feelings that stood out.
That's good.
Basically. And then I posted the affirmation that was the best fitting for that day.
That's good. How did that make you feel?
It made me feel good. Now, some days I did miss because some of the days I was just like, man, I'm not feeling my best. I don't feel like taking a picture, which a lot of them were like selfies or like videos of me and my kids, or like I've been really into like, I downloaded this Bible app. Just because I'm getting more into my spirituality, because which I feel like a lot of people should do, not necessarily with the Bible, just finding like your inner peace and inner
connectivity.
Exactly. Something more. Exactly.
Yeah. So with that, everybody. So I say all the time, I'm not fucking religious at all. However, I am a much fucking spiritual person. I'm very much in tune with myself, my body, and what my spirit is in this world. You know, like I'm not some fucking, I believe in the universe. I'm not one of those people. I'm like, not that. But spirituality is just understanding yourself, and having a connection to something else, to something more. You could be a spiritual person and just say, you know what? I was made from the fucking dirt, and the dirt makes a goddamn tree. So am I any more than a tree? No. But then you could also believe, am I any less than a tree? No. Trees are fucking big. They're beautiful. Did you fucking fart, Minnie? Like, God, baby girl, yes, we are all amazing, created from the same molecular structure, dust as stars and planets. We are all special and unique. From Nightmare, just chatting, 7/29/2022. Here, I'll put chat up on the screen. Be mature. But no, really. So that's what spirituality is. And like, I want to encourage you guys. Once I was able to kind of figure out my spirituality, you know, stepping and footing, I was able to kind of connect myself. Like the biggest spirituality like lesson I've learned, I would say, I don't know the word, but the biggest thing that I've taken, or whatever the word, I can't think of the word. What's the word when like whatever, epiphany. Oh yeah, epiphany. The biggest epiphany or whatever I've learned from my spiritual journey is that we're all human. We're all living the human experience. The human experience is not defined as one thing, and it's not defined as anything else. Being human, our bodies are malleable. Our bodies can be shaped anyway. Our bodies can look anyway. Our bodies can be defined as anyway. And it could be shaped by you and by outside forces that you have absolutely no control of. And that's what makes every individual themselves beautiful. And it took me a long time to realize that. And I needed to realize that, especially for my mental health, especially because of my body dysmorphia and my eating disorders. Because specifically, that was a big thing. I think I talked about it even on the regular channel. A big thing about it, and you guys know on my podcast, a lot of stuff I feel like when I don't have control, like I lose all sensibility. I that's when my depression starts to come back in and all these kinds of things. And so last year, when I was uncontrollably gaining weight and I was getting bigger, and I felt like I had no control over over my body, like it fucked me up even more. So, you know what I mean? And it was extremely hard for me to get past it and move on. And so once I finally realized, like, I'm just living a human experience, and a human experience includes my body changing in ways that I cannot stop, you know? I can't stop the fact I'm going to fucking get older. I can't stop that. So I'm only living this human experience, you know? And yeah, it does suck that sometimes the human experience fucking sucks ass and makes you want to die, legitimately not want to live the human experience. But there's so many other things to enjoy the human experience for. You know what I mean? And so that was probably like the biggest epiphany within like my spiritual like stepping and footing was that. So another thing I want to talk about is this down here, the chronic dissatisfaction. So chronic dissatisfaction. I know I've talked about it before. In this upcoming season, we're gonna have an entire episode about chronic dissatisfaction. I even have a blog about it. Let me find the blog, chat. But what do you guys think chronic dissatisfaction is? In your guys' mind, what does chronic dissatisfaction mean? I mean, it could be pretty easy. Just break down the 2 words: chronic dissatisfaction. Let's see, where are blogs? And I want to read to you guys a portion from my blog. Okay. Question, answer when you feel okay. Never being satisfied. Never being satisfied. That's a good piece of it. All right. So blog number 8. What am I missing? You know, I think the reason I have such an addictive personality is because I'm missing something. Well, some things like, I think this is it. Let me make sure that this is it. No, this is not the one. If you guys want to read my blogs, you guys are very free to. It's called Work for Reason. Oh, blog number 5, chronic dissatisfaction. All right. The best phrase I've heard all week is, unironically, the title of this quick little blog posting. My therapist mentioned it during our session this week, and I want to pay accolades to her for getting this phrase stuck in my head all week, which is still been fucking stuck in my head. And I wrote this, early this year, last year, at the end of last year, somewhere around there. During the season, like obviously, if you guys have been watching the podcast for the last year and a half, then you guys know when I uploaded this, because I talked about it right after I uploaded it. I was able to identify every situation this week where I suffer from symptoms of chronic dissatisfaction. I've generally talked about it before, notably in my other blog posts regarding my excessive need to have more. Excessive need to have more. Excessive is the key part. Need to have more. But I didn't necessarily discuss the opposite side of wanting more. Words. It's literally fucking words. Notably, or the side that comes out when I do receive some sort of perspective, idea, milestone, achievement, goals, all of that stuff. So what I talked about is in this blog post is the opposite side of it. Like when I do actually get things, when I do actually notice, achievement or worth or value, what I actually feel, and what it's like, what that means, A lot of times people just, they think about like, I'm never gonna lose more weight. Like I've lost, fucking 1 pound in the last 2 fucking months. Like that's nothing. Like I'm not going anywhere. I'm actually breaking down in this blog post what it looks like for me to achieve something. So let's say I said within the next 2 weeks, I want to eat at least 1 meal every day, right? And let's say I achieved that. Let's say even 5 days out of those 14 days, I ate 2 meals or 2 meals and a snack, and I achieved that. This blog post is talking about what chronic dissatisfaction is, literally to that level when you actually do achieve something. So what it is, so I go in, and that would be hard for me. Yeah. This is a disease. I believe that chronic dissatisfaction is a disease. It's just as much an issue as any other mental disorder. I realized that this isn't about me being overly critical or being my own worst critic. It's about being dissatisfied, regardless of the potential benefits and consequences. So regardless of how good or the positive or consequences it is, regardless of all that stuff, is about me being dissatisfied to an unhealthy manner that is uncontrollable. I know you guys probably can't see much of it. Here's an example. So even after fighting for years to earn a spot as the lead, I don't know, manager. So even after fighting for years to earn a spot as lead manager at Dairy Queen, you finally get it. But you realize that you're still not happy and not proud of yourself. This could be for many reasons. Which then I go on to talk about some of the background reasons of like why you might not be happy. It could be fueled by contents from your past. You may have never learned how to just be okay with things that you have. You might have never learned how to just be okay with who you are. You might have had to fight for food because you were poor and never had the chance to relax. You might have been looking for approval from others, which you probably did not get after becoming lead manager, things like that. So I went into those 3 things All of these things I know I've dealt with in some manifestation, and probably why I resonate with this one a lot. I go on to talk about how it could be due to the fact that you did it out of rage, anger, grudge, envy for somebody's position, which a lot of people do those kinds of things. Like I could say I want to be lead manager just so I could be his fucking boss because he pissed me the fuck off. I hate him. I want to make his fucking life hell. And so you get to that position and you're not fucking satisfied. And you could be living your life out of that anger all the time. And so that's another reason why you can be dissatisfied. I know I've fucking been in that point as well. And sometimes you can even feel guilt or shame from that, from doing things like that. And then again, another one, it could be based on how much time you spend thinking in the future to the next thing, the next goal, the next demotion, notice, or whatever. So you could think about the future so much, like, okay, you could be thinking, I want to get to be the lead manager. And as soon as you get to lead manager, you're thinking, I want to be the franchise owner. And as soon as you get there, you're never taking the time to stop, pause, and think about what you actually have. So that's another thing I was talking about. So anyway, regardless of why, I've noticed that there is always some underlying factors playing on me with never being satisfied with what I have, with who I am, with the things that I embody, and so much more. I mean, just like any person who knows, loves, or just meets me can tell you some of the better traits about me, as can I, right? So like, I know some of the better traits about me. I can tell you those things. A lot of you guys who've met me before, you guys can even tell me some of the traits about me. But the point is that I am chronically dissatisfied with it all. I can tell you, I am a very positive socialite. You know, somebody who goes out and can be a light for everybody. But does that mean that I'm happy with that and that I'm satisfied with that? At this point, no. You know what I mean? I gave an example. So there was one time like 5 years ago where I was due for a professional and conduct review for my seniors at work. Basically, I was just getting reviewed. My immediate supervisor rated me as having above average initiative levels, which right, above, great. I'm pretty. You guys probably can't see the writing at all, but you know, it's whatever. I'm sorry. Which was the better score of the department in that characteristic. I did have like the top initiative score. Also, we don't even need to get into other characteristics that I received. Better scores than most others. I wiped everybody out. I was pretty fucking tight. Nevertheless, I was extremely offended by the marking for initiative because I felt like I prided myself on displaying the utmost initiative that anybody could. Like I knew my initiative was better than fucking everybody else's. So I felt like I put the most amount of work in that field. So of all the fields I could be judged in, I felt like initiative would be my top fucking one, you know? I believed that the rest didn't matter because I can get unacceptable marks on every other trait, but I better get exceptional on initiative. So basically, I want to have an exceptional marking on initiative. I brought my concerns up to my supervisor. He couldn't believe that I was not happy with my scores. He felt like I was saying that he had horrible judgment, which at the time I did feel like because I didn't like that motherfucker. But that had nothing to do with like him. After talking with more of his peers, they bumped it up because they did feel the same way that I should be rated exceptional, whatever. But you wouldn't believe that when he brought me in to explain to me the positive changes, I cried because I felt like they only did that because they like me and I have a way with words. They truly didn't believe it. They were just appeasing me. Anyway, so long story short is I felt like I should have been, rated much better. And my chronic dissatisfaction fucked me up so goddamn much that I just couldn't be happy with having the best rating, around. That's what chronic dissatisfaction does. And that shit fucking eats at you. Like it eats at you and eats away. And it bleeds into so much other shit in your fucking life. So I want to bring that up. And like, you guys can read the blog here. If you guys are interested, I will put the blog in the chat below. You guys can read the rest of it if you guys want. But continue on with some more. Another thing about chronic dissatisfaction is self-acceptance. And self-acceptance, again, comes from a lot more of that chronic dissatisfaction, spirituality, that kind of stuff. So once you can start to just accept, again, like that, all this shit that you got to deal with, it's just because you live in a human experience. you kind of start to fucking get past it, and you start to learn how to accept just what you don't have to love everything that you have, that you look like, or that you do, or that you are, or whatever. But you just start to learn how to accept yourself as you are. And it takes a lot of pressure that you put on yourself off of you. And then you don't really care about other people not accepting you. Like, I haven't given a fuck about other people accepting me. And I don't know, like maybe 9 months, since like fucking December time frame is when I think I really realized. Okay. From Jeffrey Dahmer, how do you feel about sex ed classes avidly pushing that children masturbate? I did not know that they were teaching that. And even giving them the materials to do so. And even pushing for them to do it more, and possibly encouraging them to get addicted. I did not know that was happening, or that's the thing. But so the thing about that is, I don't believe that schools should be promoting children to engage in sexual activities, mostly because, not mostly, but largely, whatever, because that is a thing that families individually need to do. School is a very general thing, and it cannot, when you start to get into the specifics of individuals, and of especially children, you give a group of children a very general principle or model to go off of, or role to start to play. They take that and they infer it into whatever they want. And what the fuck are children gonna goddamn do with that? A lot of times they're gonna fucking turn to porn, which is fucking unhealthy, especially at that goddamn age, because one, not only is it illegal, but two, that's not the fucking place to go to learn. And even with them trying to teach them, how the fuck are you teaching these kids how to masturbate? There's a difference between explaining what masturbation is and explaining how it could be used in a healthy manner once you're of age. And also, we need to make sure that we're talking about this shit like at a healthy age. Because, I mean, if we're just doing it in some general ass health class, definitely fucking not. But I don't think that schools should be teaching that. That is something that I think is very specific to a child and very specific to the family, because parents also, maybe fucking parents would rather have that conversation with the child. That's something that should not be going on in school. So I don't think that should be taught, especially because, again, also, I'm pretty sure if they're teaching them that kind of shit, they're probably teaching them don't have sex, just masturbate, which is fucking even worse, because then it puts this perception in people's heads that it's healthier to masturbate over having sex, which a lot of times, most of the fucking time, it is not, especially from what I've learned in Sex Addicts Anonymous. There are healthy ways to engage in sex. There are healthy ways to engage in masturbation. There are healthy ways to not engage in both, and there are healthy ways to engage in both, and within a relationship and all types of things. I mean, it even puts into these kids' head that in relationships you don't fucking masturbate, which is also a very unhealthy thought, because you might have somebody who is a healthy partner and they say, I want to masturbate sometimes because that's for me, that's my own, that's how I show myself self-love or self-care. And when you take that mindset and you take that part out, that, oh no, you shouldn't be masturbating, bro, like you, or I guess, I'm gay, so if I'm talking to my partner, it's bro. Sorry. But anyway, partner, like whoever the fuck you're dating, you start to take that shit away from them, or you start to tell your partner, like, no, it's okay to fucking do this. And now you have this internal conflict going on because of what you were taught generally in goddamn high school, and that's just that's horrible. So I do not agree with that, and I don't think that that schools should be teaching something as specific as that. Again, like, there's a difference between explaining and then also handing them what the fuck are you handing students? What are you handing students to learn how to fucking masturbate? Are you like, I could understand like safe practices, because obviously schools also they try and teach safe sex. They try and teach safe. So like, tell them like, canola oil, fucking cooking oil, do not use this shit on your fucking dick. Don't put this shit in your vagina. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to that extent, yes. But these motherfuckers should not be handling KY and Astroglide or whatever. Like that's no. Just stop. No, I just don't. It's also always even uncomfortable for me in high school to like have teachers give us condoms, bro. We are underage. We're not supposed to be having sex any fucking way. Stop. Like, leave that to my fucking family to do. Fuck. So yeah, that's how I feel about, I guess, masturbation being pushed when you're in school. So moving past from the actual the actual fucking masturbation, they're crazy. To even tell them to get addicted, that is just wild. That's fucking horrible. All right, so moving past the video portion of this half of the episode, the next portion was me talking about the total fitness and health. So hey, Charming, you want to talk a little bit? Total fitness. There we go. Come back here. Promote it, which is Jesus fucking Christ. My audio needs to get reset. I do this shit literally every day before stream, guys. And I don't know why the fuck it plays me so damn much. Every time, every day. All right, good. That's not what I'm about to do. We gonna keep it real. Look, we for the most part, we know how to promote certain health, right? For the most part. And not all the time are we good at practicing it, but for the most part, we know about them. What I want to really talk about today is what the types of fitnesses, like different things are, what it looks like to not be healthy, kind of some diseases or diagnosis, some situations that are associated with it that experiences. Yeah. Trust me, I'm not licensed. I'm not licensed. I'm not licensed. I'm not a psychiatrist. Okay, so
doctor.
None of that shit.
These are things I'm doing. These kind of things will be completely different for lots of you out there. Just as many you are in the world, there's going to be as many different strategies to work on improving your total fitness. So I just really want to give all of that and a little bit of disclaimer. So what is a part of that whole total fitness pie that I was talking about that you can't eat all at once, but you're probably going to feel bad because you're going to try and eat all at once?
Okay, so I talked about total fitness pie. And what the total fitness pie is, the example that I give is you have this fucking pie, okay? And let me go back. Because I know for a damn fact I talked more about it. I tools in your, better.
In like your little toolbox, you know, in anything or excelling in anything, even though you have a lot of the knowledge and awareness that you're not balanced and how to get out of it. Room with this mic and this computer and my little go drop some fanny pack. Okay, whatever.
Charming.
I promise y'all, we be over having a good time. Me by myself in this room with this mic and this computer.
Me by myself in this room by myself. All
right. Anyway.
Explain the total fitness pie. Damn.
But honestly, really, you don't feel like you have enough stuff in your bag to help you become, fit totally or whatever. And one thing I want to say too, before we really, really get into it, is you're never going to be able to work on every single piece of this pie.
Mm-hmm. You can't eat. You're never going to be able to work on every single piece of this pie all the same fucking time. And it's never going to all be perfect. And it's never all going to be fucking equal.
The whole pie at once, right?
Can't eat
just
the whole
remember
pie at once.
That throughout the rest of this episode for the main topic.
Within
for the longest. Okay, to myself, right? So what is you can't eat all at once?
All right,
you're probably going to feel bad because you're going to try and eat all at once, and when you fail at eating all at once, you're going to feel even worse about yourself, right? So what is that? What is that pie? So some of the pieces.
Here's what I want to do. I want to make this fucking big. I want to make this good and big for y'all. All right. Is that really? Oh. I want to make this good and big for y'all. Get up there. Damn. My school has trays of Count on the lube at the door. Yeah, that's just fucking weird to me. All right. That some of those slices include your physical fitness, right? Your mental fitness, emotional, your spiritual. So obviously, as I explain what the total fitness pie is and what it looks like, I have these slides coming up, kind of cutting it all down so you guys can see what the fucking pie looks like. Financial, your romantic, social fitness, your personal fitness, and even your sexual fitness. It's not limited to that list, but you know what? What that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 pieces of the pie. I'm sure you can cut pie, fractions, math into infinite number. Yeah. All right. Okay. But anyway. All right. So what I was doing here is just pretty much pulling up all of like a good definition or a good definition and examples of what each of these look like to be unhealthy and healthy. Okay. Well, and it's pretty easy. I can give you guys the link to this video as well. So if you guys want to go through the entire video, but just looking down here, there's not, if you have, imagine 9 different pieces of a fucking pie, right? And you have physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, sexual, social, blah, 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 blah. The list fucking goes on. All these different ways to take care of yourself and be totally 100% fit, right? So obviously, like, physical fitness looks like you going to the gym, you going to physical therapy, you don't always have to go to the gym strictly to, get stronger or to lose weight. You can just go to the gym for maintenance, right? Like just to keep your body where it is, especially like if you're satisfied with your body, or if you just want, to make sure that you're just keeping up on whatever. Right. And so I want you guys to think about that. Not everything do you need to be going to it to get stronger or to lose weight or to change your body. There's 2 reasons why, well, 4, but really 2 big main reasons why of your fitness: to change something or to maintain something. And people forget all the time about the maintaining something. They forget all the fucking time about maintaining something. A lot of people think if I'm going to the gym, it's so I can lose weight or so I can get big or so I can get strong or what the fuck. You could just go to the gym to maintain where you're fucking at and that's that, along with your health as well. You can go to the gym just to remain healthy or to change your health or whatever, right? So there's that. Think about that while you go around the rest of the pie. So you have mental fitness, which a lot of people have heard a lot of times. That's things like, your mental courage, like, if you do things, whether you're afraid or not, or if you have the, courage to go out and do something, your bravery, that's your traits. So how honorable you are, how dependable you are, things like that, right? So how do you get better at fucking mental fitness? Therapy. You go to fucking a mental coach or mental therapist and get fucking better at that kind of shit. Talk to them, learn more. You guys can go to motivational coaches, shit like that, to get better at it. Again, now you don't also have to go to therapy for just to change, to get better or something. You don't have to. You can also just go to therapy for maintenance, which a lot of people fucking need to do in the goddamn world. And we talked about it last week. Like I was talking about how a lot of times children, or especially like families, especially growing up, like me, like I never had therapy or counselor when I was growing up, but I have a lot of friends who, while they were growing up, they were just in therapy. Like as a kid, they were just in therapy, not because they had any kind of mental issues or anything like that. But a lot of times people go to therapists when they have an issue. A lot of times people go to physical therapists when they have a fucking issue. But you can go to physical therapy to just maintain shit. You really can. You truly can. And you can go to a therapist to just make sure that you're just growing well, and just have somebody to fucking talk to, have somebody to kind of shape your understanding of life as you fucking go through life, just to maintain. A lot of people don't think about that kind of shit. Sexual fucking, like, I think that everybody should go through a fucking 12-step Sex Addicts Anonymous. If I went through 12 steps for Sex Addicts Anonymous, I went through 3 of those motherfuckers. You need friends? I went through 3 12-step. I think everybody should go. I think I would honestly not be against 12-step leaders or peer leaders going to fucking high schools and giving and not forcing, but like having it as an option, but like having a 12-step sex addicts anonymous or a 12-step fucking alcoholics anonymous course. I would love that shit. Like that shit changed my life. And I was so happy to be. Now, like I said, I went through 3 of them and 3 different ones as well. And it was fucking, it was hard. It was hard as fuck. But I would love, hey, turn up. I'm glad that you got approved. Well, welcome, Savan. Welcome. I have to help you out with some stuff. And I like I said, I'm happy now to have gone through it because it definitely shaped me who I am today. I mean, specifically like with the things that I'm getting into now in my life, with the sexual experience I have now. Like I went through it the first 2 times to get better, but the third time I went was just strictly for maintenance, just because. Like, yeah, I was here, you know, I was extremely sexually unhealthy. And then I went to my first 12 step. My first 12 step, I became so much better and I was so much strong. I was so much stronger, but at the same time, I was also very weak and I hadn't had much practice in practicing safe sex and practicing, you know, like healthy sex, not safe sex, healthy sex. And healthy sexual experiences, because not all of it was about sex. Most of it was actually not about sex. Most of it was about me and how sex can almost kill me, can and has killed me. And so I ended up relapsing. And so I went again. I went to another 12-step program after I almost died after my overdose because of sex. And so I went to another freaking 12-step program. And that time, I felt like I had so much more tools because I had these tools that I learned and that I put in my toolbox from my first 12-step, and I went to my second one, and now I already have these tools, and now I really can actually like. Now that I have these tools, like I can visually see me using these tools as I'm learning more and kind of going over and reviewing this shit. And now after that, I'm like, okay, I know what the fuck to do. And I was able to kind of start practicing it. And so I went to another 12-step program for maintenance. And like I said, that was my sexual maintenance, my healthy sexual maintenance. And so that's something that I think, like I said, when it comes to total fitness, like you have 2 things. You're changing something or you're maintaining something. And do not forget to maintain things. Even when it comes to social fitness, a lot of times people don't fucking work on their social fitness. There is a such thing as social fatigue. There's a such thing as physical fatigue, mental fatigue, emotional fatigue, spiritual fatigue, financial fatigue, sexual fatigue, social fatigue, all that kind of shit. What it looks like is just like fatigue. When you get burnt out or you're tired, you're exhausted, right, of whatever it is. So if there's social fatigue, you get exhausted from being social. Literally, that's that. One thing with me is, so in season in chat for most of you guys have not been in season with me during the podcast because obviously I'm not doing the podcast live on this channel. But prior the last year, everybody who was listening, you know, on YouTube or on Anchor or Spotify or Google Podcasts or whatever else that you know I'm available for you guys to watch. But a huge thing that you guys know from me is that while I'm filming and recording the podcast, I'm talking so much to you guys. I'm interacting so much to you guys. I'm writing blogs. It's like I go from writing and talking to people to figure out, you know, the notes I'm going to give. Then I actually film the podcast. Then after filming the podcast, now I edit and I'm listening to myself. I'm talking to other people, trying to get more information on what I should add to it, like these notes down here. Then I go out and now I'm talking to people about, you know, mental health, because all I'm thinking about all day long is mental health. And so now I'm talking to people. And now after I talk to people, now like even when I try and sleep, and now like I have different people texting me all the time, asking me different questions, especially during a podcast, because I have a topic that I talk about, and now people want to talk to me about that topic for the next week until my next topic comes out. And so I'm talking to people all the time. I get so exhausted. After the first season, I was like, during season 2, after the podcast is filmed, I'm not fucking talking to nobody about mental health or goddamn anything. I'm not even fucking going out, you know? And so because I felt like I was always out, I was always doing things. The only time I was home was when I am literally recording, and it felt like I was still out, you know, like I didn't really even have, you know, so social fatigue is a real thing. And I realized that because I started getting so tired and and so exhausted. And it was just like, I don't want to talk to anybody at all. Like, don't fucking talk to me. I don't want to use my brain power to talk. I don't want to talk. I feel like my throat hurts from fucking talking. I feel like I don't want to do it, you know? And another thing, emotional fatigue. Last year, especially during the podcast, during season 2 or season 1, and in between season 1 and season 2, I was trying to up my emotional availability. I was learning in therapy. One of the biggest sections during like that July to September timeframe was emotional development, and we did a lot of work on emotional development in therapy. 8 hours a day. So in therapy, 8 hours a day, while I'm also getting mentally and emotionally, fit, we're also talking about mental and emotional development. And so not only are we talking about that, but then a lot of emotions comes up for 8 hours a fucking day for literally 7 days a week. You know how emotionally draining it is to talk about emotions, to then learn about emotions, to then work on developing your emotions. I don't want to deal with no fucking emotions after therapy is up. After talking and seeing it 8 hours a day, bro, I was like, no. I was kind of talking, dating, whatever, this guy, and I told him, look, at the end of the therapy day, I want 0 things to do with emotions. None. Just like, if we can just keep that out of this for now, like maybe, when I get to a point where, I'm going through a lot less emotionally, like talking about emotions a lot less, dealing with other people's emotions a lot less, and not like, then I can be able to emotionally, be there more. But not that I'm emotionally avoiding things, or not that I'm emotionally unavailable. It's just I'm emotionally drained and I don't have it to give. So that's something I need you to understand. What that'll look like is it'll look like me like it'll full on look like me legitimately not having an emotional presence to give you. I just will not be there emotionally. Like other ways, like physically, sexually, socially, even, but just like when it comes to us connecting on an emotional level, it's going to be very difficult for me to do that because I don't have any more. So these are things that like I want you guys to understand when it comes to the total fitness pie. Like during that time, you guys can see in the pie here, this right here is this like lime green right here is the emotional portion of the pie, of the total fitness pie, and this right here is the mental. If I'm literally working on these 8 hours a day, how much more time do I have for the rest of these? Like I was able to go to the gym sometimes, but my body would be so tired from all my brain just fucking processing and thinking. Sometimes my body just literally could not. My body would just ache. My body would ache, and so sometimes I could go to the gym. Okay, cool. So now my emotional, my mental are fucking taking up some of my gym time, my physical time. Sexual. If I emotionally and mentally can't do shit and my body's aching, I'm not having good sex. I'm not having sex. I'm not masturbating. I'm not doing any of that shit at all. So a lot of my sexual shit gets avoided. My personal fitness is growing because of my mental and emotional development. However, at the same time, a lot of personal fitness is like taking care of yourself, like showering and all that kind of shit. So I did that a lot more because of my mental, because I was working on mentally developing. And so I was also working on personal. Social, a lot of times I don't want to deal with people's emotions, like friends' emotions or the drama, or be there for them or listen to. And that's okay. Like sometimes I say, look, best friend, today I cannot. Can we look? I have off the next 2 days from therapy and from work. Like in 2 days, let's talk, let's chat about this. But like today, I can't. So a lot of times my social would kind of fall off. So like I said, when I say you cannot work on this entire fitness pie at once, it's not going to happen. And if you try to make that happen, you're going to fucking fail, and all of this shit will fucking fall. And it'll put you in a much worse state. So that's what the total fitness pie is for me. Again, I have these slides. I went through slides with each of these things. Where are the slides at? Maybe I didn't put them up. But I have the slides. But I do have the slides. So let me close. Where you at? Where are you at? Come here. There you go. So with all that being said, total fitness. We talked about chronic dissatisfaction and self-acceptance, colors, all different types of things. Do you guys have any kind of questions or any kind of concerns? If you guys are watching the podcast via Google Podcasts, Spotify, or anything like that, you guys feel very free to come over to twitch.tv/charming with the one set I _ blah, 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 all that kind of good shit. Links in the description below. And you guys can feel free to ask questions live as well. But you guys can also put it in the comment sections on YouTube or wherever you guys are watching this from, if there is a comment section. But like I said, so overall, like I had a really good time filming these 2 weeks. Within the next few weeks, like I did have a chance to do a lot of really good like explanations of shit. I think we even talk about codependency. I think actually next week is about codependence. Let me check. Yes. So next week we're gonna talk about my codependence episode number 5, and we also have one of my other favorite books that we got the chance to interview. So next week's codependence one is going to be a fucking hard hitter. And if you know anything about codependence, you know that it'll be a hard hitter. That's a topic I also am not going to get into right now, Jeffrey. That is an entire different topic that I'm not going to get into, that I am not even prepared. So these things, I make sure that I try and pull up very objective topics. So topics that are objectively fucking factual, like chronic dissatisfaction, acceptance, these kinds of things. Not necessarily subjective shit that makes like subjective topics like that. So that way I can then be able to present actual information to people instead of my own opinions. Because a lot of the things that I talk about are either my experiences, what I've learned, or what I've seen. And I want to make sure I don't sway any of my opinions about certain things, about specifically like political topics. That kind of shit can really fuck up a lot of people. So I try not to put in my, and that goes the same with my gaming channel, because we do a lot of reactions and shit over there. So I try not to put my actual opinion into certain parts of potentially political and trivial conversations. I would rather stay, whatever the fucking word is, stay in the back and maybe talk about the arguments that people have and break down the arguments, break down the why, not necessarily the what do I think. I like to break down the why, not what do I think. Like why, instead of, like, I'd rather break down the what people do when they are depressed instead of what I think that individual people should do when they are depressed. If that makes sense. And what is healthy and what is not healthy. So that's what I like to do over here on the podcast. So yeah. I hope that answers it for you. I think I also had to hydrate. Yes, thank you. No. What I'm saying, Jeffrey, is I have my own opinions and I keep those to myself off of the podcast and off of social media and off of the internet. Because I'm not a political leader. I don't need to put my own opinions. I just enjoy talking. Like now, for instance, I will talk about the arguments that people have about abortion. I would talk about the arguments, and I would talk about why people might have these own arguments. Like, for instance, a conservative might have an argument to that, abortion is wrong. And I might talk about why certain conservatives have this idea and why certain conservatives might not. But I'm not going to talk about my opinions of one of those conservatives or two of about the abortion. But I will definitely talk about it. If that makes sense. Yeah, it can also turn into an argument, and and I'm not, and again, thank you too. I say it all the time. I'm not trying to change people's perspectives. I like to push people's perspectives, and I like to give perspectives. I like to give other people's perspectives. That makes sense. So that's also what I do here on the podcast. I try and push perspectives because a lot of people, they think of mental health as this fucking crazy ass psychotic thing. Like if you have a mental issue, you're fucking crazy. And that's not what I want. That's a big part of actually me starting a podcast is I have a bunch of mental health issues. And a lot of times people don't fucking know. Why? Because it looks different amongst every goddamn body. And what I want to do is provide perspectives, push people's perspectives, not change perspectives. You know what I mean? I don't care if people think that we're all crazy. Shit. I think everybody's fucking crazy. You know, I think every person in the fucking world is crazy to some goddamn level, whether that level is 1 or 100. It's all the goddamn scale or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of where you are on that fucking scale. I think everybody has, but that's just objective thing because everybody is on a scale of something. It's controversial as fuck. I couldn't think of words. Yeah, I say controversial subjects because I have my opinions and I don't have the energy to argue with people. I can spend that energy on positive things. And there are a lot of people who don't recognize mental health issues. Also very true. For example, I'm depressed. Just go for a run. That's also very true. A lot of people like to suppress mental health issues. And so another thing that I want to do is push like, bitch, I run more than you do and I'm still depressed. The fuck? Like, you know, and you're depressed. Well, don't fucking cut yourself. Well, bitch, that's not the only thing that we do. That's not shit. I used to be absolutely terrified of that shit. I was like, I would never do that kind of shit. Even in my depression, you know, and there's so much when it comes to mental health, even more than just depression, that a lot of people don't understand. And so that's a big part of that, of why I wanted to start the podcast. Is to, like I said, be able to push perspectives and provide perspectives, not change perspectives or offer my opinion of people who have any kind of fuck. I just said the words 92 times. So next week, ladies and gentlemen, codependence, and we're also going to talk about one of the biggest mottos that came out of what we're going to talk about next week, besides codependence, which was from our video with our prospective. Thank you. It's perspective. Besides codependence was the saying, "Why did I wake up?" So we're going to talk about that next week as well. But if you guys have any other questions, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for tuning in today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. Today's like episode 22 of season 2, which is fucking crazy. It's been over a year and a half. I like jazz. Oh, you like jazz? I love jazz. I love jazz. French horn is my shit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys. I hope you guys having a fucking amazing week. And most importantly, have a beautiful, sweet, healthy, goddamn day. I'll see you guys next week.